Brilliant. So first question, if you wouldn't mind, if you would just give me a quick introduction as to who you are, where you're based, and what you guys do.
Yeah, sure. So Angela Wagstaff, Director of Allwag Promotions, based in Essex, been trading for 20 years, and we supply sustainable promotional merchandise and clothing.
Fabulous. And do you just do sustainable merchandise, or is it just part of your overall offering?
No, we've always done. Back to 2004, we won the National Business Award. We were one of the first people to look at recycled promotional merchandise. So we've always had a strong passion for it. I would say in about 18 months' time, the answer to that question would be yes. However, no, I'm going to say in transition. We've got a 2-year plan to replace everything, but that involves, we're just rebuilding a new website, and it also involves re-educating clients as to what they're using and why they're using it. And it's not just about the product itself, it's a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, fantastic. And are you're getting a lot of demand? Are people requesting now specifically a sustainable or an eco-friendly range? Are you finding that
very much? Yeah, very, very much so, because we supply public sector. We supply, so we've got some very key government clients. We also supply corporate, so from a corporate social responsibility point of view, it's very important. And we're very strong in universities and education. And I would say absolutely driven by students. That's a real passion. So yeah, I would say a month ago, if you'd have asked me this question, I would say probably 80% of our inquiries mentioned, or there was a discussion around sustainability.
Okay, fantastic. Good. Pleased it's all moving in the right direction. So what was it that, in terms of having that sustainability focus in the business, was that always a driving force for you personally? Is that sort of motivated, or has it sort of just been a reaction to people's demand? Where has that sustainability focus come from?
A mixture of both, I would say, because I think you choose your clients based on those that share the same ethos. And for us, the sustainability side, be it used to be environmentally friendly perhaps 4 years ago, it is very important, because what we do, for all intents and purposes, could be a giveaway. So therefore it's not deemed as essential, and it's certainly not deemed as environmentally friendly in some instances. So trying to make sure that the products that we provide and supply tick a few more boxes will certainly give us, business-wise, more sustainability, let alone the products.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And this is a difficult one, but in one word, how would you describe sustainability? I know that's quite difficult.
I don't do anything in one word. I would say, if I had to choose, justifiable or viable, and viable probably would be my preference.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think a lot of businesses that I talk to, and you're trying to overcome the challenge of, going sustainable costs too much money, and you get those sort of barriers. But it is often a sensible and, like you say, viable business option to be sustainable in your business. So yeah, that's a great answer. Excellent. Cool. So besides the current sort of pandemic that we're going through at the moment, have you had any challenges with being sustainable? I mean, it sounds that it's opened up more doors than it closed in terms of creating opportunities. But have you had any challenges with price points, or any sort of pushbacks from customers when you've been offering sustainable options?
No, I would say no. Probably people's misconceptions. So it's about education. I would say not everyone's got the same passion and understanding, and it's not their priority. So for us, it's a case of education. It's talking to them about why it would make more sense, particularly aligning their brand with something that's more sustainable from an industry point of view. For what we do, particularly in events, exhibitions, conferences, the messaging takes it a little bit further then. So I would say that we haven't had too many challenges other than people not getting it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it is. That is a big challenge with this whole industry, definitely. And just around whether it's a business that you've seen or you've worked with, anyone that's sort of stood out and impressed you or inspired you in sort of how they're building sustainability into their business.
I think one of our one of our suppliers, one of the ranges that we do is neutral clothing, and that for me, particularly with students, particularly with our target markets, their marketing's been simple but effective. Their product is fabulous. I think it goes a little bit further than most in terms of what they're trying to achieve, what they're recycling, the way that they're producing. So for us, we've got an 8-point plan that we look at to see how a product fares on those 8 points, and they take it all the way around, starting from resources, materials, production, branding, transport, right the way through to disposal. And we've actually looked at ways in which we can look at the end of life side for a lot of our products, and again, neutral have been fabulous with that too.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that whole circular economy is so important.
Yeah.
Thinking about, where are you sourcing items from, and like you said, what happens to it ultimately when you're finished with it. So that's great. Super. So there's a lot of people, I think, dabbling with sustainability, and certainly in the event industry, trying to bring that in as much as possible. Someone that was sort of just stepping out and starting, what piece of advice would you give them just starting in sort of sustainable events and trying to build sustainability into their conferences or exhibitions? Have you got any piece of advice that you would give them?
I'd probably say talk to people, talk to us. I'm also chair of our trade association, the British Promotional Merchandise Association. So trying to help our members understand it is really important. We've got a sustainability group, and so we're looking to do that for the industry as well. And just by talking to people, I learn so much, all day, every day. Google's wonderful, and spend a lot of time on Google trying to gather advice, but actually finding out about people's real life experiences, what worked, what didn't, and just clarifying some of their understanding. I would just say keep talking, and absolutely form a group, join a forum, do what you're doing, take part in interviews, find out more, because there's so much out there, and there's still a lot of grey areas. So by talking to people, you'll really get to understand things much better.
Absolutely. And I think something that I sort of encourage people to do, certainly getting into sustainability, is, like you say, working with your suppliers. You're not expected to do it on your own. So whether it's a venue or a printing company or merchandise like yourselves, actually sort of investing time to talk to your suppliers and getting them to help you with it, and sort of sharing that burden, which is great. Good. Okay. So the next few questions are just about sort of status at the moment in terms of the current situation. So are you currently still, working on live events or planning for future things? What's your sort of status at the moment, or sort of are you just in planning mode, ready for things to start up again?
We've got one key event that still thinks they're running, and I'll leave that there. So we are working on that. I can't see it happening.
When's it scheduled for?
August.
Okay.
It's a very large London-based event that we worked on for the past 5 years. So let's just say watch this space. I'll be very surprised. The problem is it's an annual event, so if they miss this slot, it won't happen again, as it were, until next year. And it's the key part of their sponsorship. So yes, I am working on one, but I'll be very surprised. No, everything for us has gone virtual. I don't think I've moved outside these 4 walls for 4 weeks, because actually I'm quite high risk myself, so I haven't moved out of this office. And yes, I'm going stir crazy, but thoroughly enjoying the chance to think about it, think about how we reposition ourselves going forward, and quite enjoying the virtual side of life, really. So
yeah, definitely, it's certainly highlighting what is an essential meeting, something that you may have traveled for previously that actually can be done virtually and saves a lot of time, and obviously the positive impacts on the environment as well. So it is certainly prioritizing things. Great. Okay. And following this pandemic, and when we sort of come out of the other side to whatever that new normal will look like, do you think that sustainability will still have the same focus, the same attention on it? I know it has previously been quite a struggle to get sustainability on the agenda at all. So do you think that that attention will still be there, or do you think that it's going to be sidelined whilst people are trying to get back on their feet economically?
I think in the very short term, sidelined. I think in the medium to long term, it will be an absolute priority. I think one thing, and you know, you hit the nail on the head just now. One thing that this has shown is what is possible in a small space of time. It's shown by pulling together an acceleration, we can achieve quite a lot. So I think the lessons from that in terms of climate change, in terms of our environment, in terms of our economy, you know, it can go up and it can go down very, very quickly. And I think sustainability will actually jump up on agendas because as people are coming back, I'm going to say perhaps slightly more in tune with nature.
Yeah,
Back to basics in terms of their thinking, their whole ethos, and actually a bit more appreciative of look at what we're doing to our planet, you know, that we can have an impact on, because we've seen how quickly in a month the world changes. And I think where that's frightened a lot of people, maybe those that hadn't considered sustainability before might be giving it some thought now. So, you know, whilst I try and look for the positive in everything, I see that as being a positive to come out of this.
Yeah, totally. And I think, you know, I think often people think about sustainability as being just about the environment, but obviously there are three sections to it, you know, the people, profit and planet,
Yeah.
and they're all interlinked. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's definitely, I think it will be a bonus to sort of connect everything and for people to appreciate that. Good. Okay. So how optimistic are you about the event industry sort of post COVID-19, about live events coming back? Are there going to be the same number of events, the same scale, thinking of that sort of maybe that international level? So how optimistic are you about live events happening? And also, how do you think that the industry might be different, or rather should be different, coming out of this pandemic?
I think, unfortunately, that it will be different. I think people will be wary. I think it will have a detrimental effect on large events in the short term, and again, medium to long term. You know, we do have fairly short memories, so I think it's just how short the short term is. I certainly think, from my team's perspectives, you know, I'll be reluctant to let them do too much in the short term. So I think it has a huge impact. I can't see. I'm involved with our industry events. You know, I can't see many of our events running, whether they be conferences we attend, exhibitions we attend. They're certainly not this year. So 2021, everything seems to be passed over to that. How will it change? I think it's a really difficult one, because having already done virtual networking, having already done, you know, used more software in 1 month than I've probably used in 10 years. You know, the world's changed without us realising, but in a good way, because I think we're learning new things. So getting people together will still be the same. Face-to-face communication still be the same. It's essential. I just think the actual touching, you know, the face-to-face in real life is going to be affected, and that is a real shame, because the best way to meet people is face-to-face, and the best way to do business is face-to-face. You know, to be able to look somebody in the eye and talk to them and understand them and feel their passion is amazing. So yeah, but I'm sure, you know, in 2 years' time, then we'll be back to where we were. It's just going to be a fairly tough 2 years.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, super. And then the last question, little fun one. What's the first thing that you're planning on doing when lockdown is lifted? You're finally allowed to go outside. What's on the top of your to-do list?
Oh, I would have said go to the pub, but it's probably got to be run to the pub, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's probably got to give my mum and dad a cuddle. So
Yeah.
missing mum, dad and family. So yeah, perhaps I'll pop in the pub on the way.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much.